Hello everyone, Pete here. And while the Xbox full screen experience is a great step in optimizing our Xbox Ally and Ally X handhelds, there are still many more optimizations that we can do to really fully realize the potential of our PC gaming handheld. Let's blast through these essential 17 steps that we can do to fully optimize, which of course also works with the ROG Ally and Ally X, and indeed most of this will work for the Legion Go and other Windows PC handhelds too, including steps that will massively improve battery life and also another specific one to give us much better performance. So I'll be doing this on my brand new Xbox Ally X. And as we start, I assume that we're already in the Xbox full screen experience like I am right now. With step 1, let's fully update Armoury Crate. So let's press our new Xbox button and click on our Armoury Crate button to launch it right here. Now Armoury Crate is not enabled by default on our brand new Xbox Ally X, and our very first time we open it we will have this privacy policy message, so click agree, and I would then highly recommend that we tick this Run Armoury Crate at System Startup option. And this really is an essential app to have running at all times for us. We get these welcome splash screens this very first time, so we can just click continue through these. And then we'll get to our Armoury Crate game library, which in my opinion is vastly more aesthetically pleasing than the Xbox app's game library. I've already downloaded some amazing Game Pass games right here, but yours may be completely blank, which is okay. So let's now click on this cog icon to head into settings. To ACES's credits, they've done an amazing job over these last few years to update Armoury Crate and to give us many more options here that we'll come back to shortly. But for now, let's head into Update Center and click on the Check for Updates button on the top right. And we can see here on my brand new Xbox Ally X that there's already a ton of updates that we urgently need to do. So let's make sure that we're plugged in to be on the safe side. And then we can simply hit Update in each section that needs updating, which may require some restarts. And after updating all of our sections, when we hit the Check for Updates button, then we should be fully updated. And I highly recommend that we check this Armoury Crate update section pretty often to make sure that we're always fully up to date on crucial drivers and plugins. Okay, so now that we're up to date in Armoury Crate, we'll come back here shortly, but now for step 2, let's get the latest Windows updates. So let's swipe up to enter app switching and click on the Windows desktop option at the bottom. This is the very first time I'm entering the Windows desktop here in my brand new Xbox Ally X, so we'll get this pop-up message, so just tick here and press continue. Let's close this browser, minimize the Xbox app and also Armoury Crate, and we're now here in the Windows desktop. I really think now is a good time to personalize this default boring desktop image, so let's enter the Edge web browser. This very first time we'll get these options, so continue through them all. Search for a wallpaper that you want, which in my case, I absolutely love Donkey Kong. Yeah, I think I like this one, so I'm going to click on this, right click and choose Save Image As. I'm going to save it into my Downloads folder. Then in this pop-up, click Open File, click on the 3 dots on the top left, then choose the Set As option, then choose Background. And now we can just minimize out and voila, our Ally feels so much more personalized. Okay, so now let's hit the Start menu button, then click Settings, scroll all the way to the bottom left to Windows Updates, and click on the blue Check for Updates button. If you do get any preview updates like this, then I'd recommend not installing them just to be on the safe side. And if you want the most stable version of Windows, then I'd recommend leaving this Get the Latest Updates as soon as they're available button to off. Out of interest, I'm going to head into the Updates History section and we can see that here on the Xbox Ally X that it ships with Windows version 25H2. So with our Windows update sorted, let's now make sure all of our apps are up to date. So let's close out of Windows settings, click the Windows Store icon that's by default in the launch bar right here, click on the Downloads icon in the bottom left, and click the blue Check for Updates button. This very first time I've done this on my new Xbox Ally X, I had a ton of updates that needed updating, including the most important one being Microsoft Paint. Guys, I'm joking, you know that, right? This will all just update automatically. And check back here regularly, in particular making sure that the Xbox app and also the Xbox Game Bar apps especially are always fully up to date, as they are a crucial part of gaming on our Ally. So with our apps now fully up to date, for step 4 let's now make some adjustments in the AMD software app. So let's close the Microsoft Store, hit the Start button, then click on All, and click on the AMD software app right here. This very first time we'll get this message, so just hit skip this. And in the early days of the OG white ROG Ally, we used to have to come here and do AMD driver updates in this area, but thankfully these are all now done within the Armoury Crate update section we did before. One thing I would recommend is going into the settings cog icon on the top right, then preferences, and just turning all of these notification toggles to off, just that we don't get annoying pop-ups. Now hit the gaming section, then the graphics tab. These AMD graphics options are off by default, and I'm going to keep these disabled too. But hey, I'd love to hear from you. In which of these AMD features do you like to use, and for what type of games? Help our awesome community by letting us all know below in the comments. Most of these AMD features like fluid motion frames we can toggle on and off in the command center too. That will come on to shortly, so don't worry too much about this. There is a final thing in the AMD app we need to change, so let's hit the settings cog icon again, go to the display area, scroll down to the Vari-Bright section, and this is on by default for some reason. Let's toggle this all the way down to 0, then click our start button, go to settings, then go to system, then go to display area, click the down arrow on this brightness option, and where it says change brightness based on content, change this from on battery only to off, then close out of our settings. And this will stop the weird discoloring that happens to our screen when on battery to save energy, which isn't too great. So now we've finished here in the AMD software app. For step 5, let's get updates in the MyAsus app. So let's close out of the AMD app. The MyAsus app is actually by default here on the launch bar on the Xbox Ally X, or we can just hit the start button and select the MyAsus app right here. This very first time we get this privacy notice, so we can just tick and hit agree. And I really would highly recommend that we tick this register my product option here and register our brand new Xbox Ally X or whatever device we have right here. After we've registered, we can just press skip on this data transfer message, press skip on these annoying tour messages, go to system updates here on the left, hit the blue check for updates button, and as we can see here, we do get crucial updates that Armoury doesn't always catch. So let's hit update, and I'd highly recommend checking this MyAsus app often for updates, along with Armoury, Windows, and the Microsoft Store too on a regular basis to ensure that we're always fully up to date. We've now finished in the MyAsus app, and for step 6, let's personalize our RGB thumbsticks. So let's close out. We can enter Armoury here at the bottom or press the Xbox button to launch it here too. Press the B button to go back, then enter this Aura Sync section right here. We can enable these effects by ticking this select all option in this first sync devices tab, then select the Aura effects tab. And here we have a ton of great options we can select from for our colors and effects on our RGB thumbsticks like static, breathing, and so on, or indeed minimize them or turn them all off entirely for some reason if we find them too distracting. So definitely spend a few minutes experimenting here to find what you prefer. We can hit reset to default if we messed stuff up, and we can press sync devices, then untick the select all box to go back to how the Ally first shipped, which I'm going to do as I really love this default RGB effect. Step 7 is performance optimizations within Armoury. So let's head into performance, then GPU settings, and the Xbox Ally X ships with the default being 8 gigs here. I know that many Ally gamers prefer changing this to auto, so we can try this. And also changing this to 10G is also a very popular option here on the Xbox Ally X. I'm going to change it to 10G, which does require a restart, but this is widely debated, so let us know below in the comments which memory settings that you find best. So my Xbox Ally X just restarted as I've changed mine to 10G. Let's head back into the performance area, and there's 2 final settings to change here. Let's head into the Eco Assist area. And for some inextricable reason, the CPU boost by default is set to on. But let's turn this to off, as this will massively boost battery life. It's a completely unnecessary battery drain, especially for less demanding titles, and we only need to turn this on if we're desperately struggling for performance, like in some PS3 emulation, for example. And the second is that if you're like our amazing viewer Alias UK video, who wants to turn the screen off but keep things like game updates and downloads running in the background without the device going to sleep, then we can set this option called keep machine running when the screen is off to on. As yes, this will just turn the screen off when we're plugged in instead of annoyingly turning the whole Ally off, and so stopping our big downloads and updates. Okay, so I'm not planning any downloads overnight tonight, so I'm going to leave this to off for the time being. And for step 8 is calibration. So let's hit the B button to go back and head into the calibration area. Now we shouldn't have to come into this calibration area within Armoury crates too often. My Xbox Ally X feels fantastic out of the box. But if we do feel that our Ally thumbsticks, buttons or gyro are just a little bit off, which may happen over time, then it's in this area right here that we can fix them. And this is one of the best features ASUS has given us within Armoury crate. For step 9, let's create a manual performance profile. Let's head into the performance area. The first time we click on manual on the top right, we get this pop-up saying that we need to click apply. Thanks ASUS. I like to drag the right FPPT slider all the way down till we get to the sustainable power limit, or SPL for short, to where we want it to be. Our great viewer Ninja Tez, man, you viewers are so smart, recommends a 20 watt manual power profile, which they say seems the sweet spot for most games. So let's slide it to 20 watts then. We can change the fan curse if we do want to, press the 3 dots and select create new. I'm going to rename it to 20 watts mode, click apply, and we get this scary message telling us ASUS aren't liable for any damage. Smart move ASUS. Let us know what kind of manual profiles that you prefer and for which games they work best in below in the comments to share in our awesome Ally community. We finished here in the Armoury crate settings, so let's head into the Armoury crate game library, and for step 10 let's customize command center. Let's press the command center button to open it up. It's decent as it is, but let's press this notepad icon right here. We can now add rows here, which is a brand new feature in this 2.1.10 version of Armoury crate. I'm going to add the real-time monitor row, then the control mode row. I like to have the resolution row, and finally the FPS limiter row too, but you can add whatever that you prefer. Then if we scroll down, let's click the add button. Again, you can choose what you prefer, but I'm going to select the end task button, and also the touch screen on and off button. But remember that this is only exclusive to the Ally X models for some random reason. I'm going to add the fluid motion frames button, and then finally the CPU boost button, just in case I need to use it briefly in any super demanding games. We can also drag and hold to move these buttons and also rows around too, which is super neat. For example, I really like the end task button on the top right within easy reach. So it really is worth spending a good 5 to 10 minutes customizing this command center to get it exactly how you like it. And again, I'd love to know what command center layouts that you prefer, so let us know below in the comments. We finished here in the command center, so let's close it. And for step 11, let's customize our Armoury crate game library. Now, of course, this is completely personal to our own tastes. You may just want to keep this default look like this, but I much prefer the carousel look. So let's press the select button or this manage library button on the bottom left, then the customize library option. As I say, the default is this vertical view, but I'm going to select this horizontal view. I love my game artwork in the center. I'm going to make my cover art a little larger, so at 4. Personally, I prefer the game title hidden, so I'm going to toggle this to off. We can turn the background image off as well if we want to, but I'm going to leave mine on. We can blur the background image as much as we want to as well, but I like it around 25%. We can darken the background image, but I think that 50% is fine for me. And the top navigation bar transparency we can alter, and I'm going to lower it very slightly. And now when we back out, we get this glorious console-like game library launcher, just like a Switch. And as I've only been into PC handheld gaming just a few short years, after being a console gamer my whole life, I really do appreciate this aesthetic. And to me, this level of customization is the reason why Armoury crate is currently a much better game library launcher than the Xbox app. Our final step within Armoury crate, which is step 12, is game optimization, and there are 4 key areas to this. First is pressing the X for game options on a specific game to optimize, then set game profile. The very first time we do this on a game, it asks us to select a template, so the gamepad mode is always recommended. Head to configuration, and here we can automatically set what operator mode this specific game starts on, both plugged in and on battery. So for many lightweight titles like Vampire Survivors, we can set the battery and plugged in modes to silent for insane levels of battery life, like 10 hours plus. For the vast majority of games like the Super Chill Power Wash 2, then the 17 watts performance mode is a fantastic option here, especially on the new Xbox Ally X. And for the most demanding games like Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, then the top end turbo mode is what we need. This is huge, and not many other YouTubers talk about this, as it saves us messing around in Command Center, constantly swapping between operating modes when changing between our games. The second is if we select a game, then again press X for game options, then select game info, then select game art. We can choose from alternative cover art or add our own. So if we swipe up and head into Windows desktop mode, by the way, I'd recommend right now us cleaning up our taskbar. So I'm going to right click on the MyAsus app and unpin this, unpin the Microsoft Store as well, and also unpin the Copilots from the taskbar too, and open up our web browser. Many of you will be aware of an amazing game art website called SteamGridDB.com. We thank our fellow Steam Deck community for this. We just type in the game or app in the search bar that we want, so in my case, Hogwarts Legacy. In the dimensions area, we can select Steam Horizontal, and we can now choose from these incredible alternative game artworks. I really like this one, so we'll just click the download icon, just hold down and right click and select Save Image As. I'm going to rename it and save it into my downloads folder. Then go back into Armoury Crate, click on Add, select our downloaded image, select it and press Done. Super simple. The third is if we back out to our game library, then we have these incredibly annoying tiny bars at the top and bottom of our game artwork that absolutely drives me insane. Now, I do admit I'm probably a little OCD. In fact, you've probably worked out I obsessively obsess, if that's a thing, over all the thumbnails here on the channel to get them just right. It takes me many hours to do all of these because you awesome viewers deserve the very, very best. So to do this, let's select our game, then press the X button for game options, then game info, then go into edit game art. And here we can just pinch and zoom to get rid of those annoying bars. Size it exactly how we want to, then press save. And it really is worth spending just a few minutes to do this with all of our games, because I've just done this, and as we can see after doing this, our game artwork now looks fantastic. And hopefully ASUS can bring in a feature to do this automatically for us, which would be super neat. And the fourth area is optimizing in-game settings. It's awesome we now have these Steam Deck-like compatibility info screens when we install many of our games. I do best settings guides for the biggest games like Battlefield 6 and will do for Black Ops 7, so stay tuned for all of those. And I also want to highlight an incredible resource for us in the Ally community called ROG Ally Life. They have amazing best setting written guides for literally hundreds of our favorite games, so I highly recommend we check them out, and I'll leave a link below in the description. For step 13, let's now sort out our third-party game launchers. So let's click on this game platforms area, and the absolute essential one that we need to do first is the Steam app. This very first time we need to log in, and an optimization tip I'd suggest for us is to click on the Steam icon on the top left, head into settings, head into the interface tab, and there's a list of personal preferences that we can choose here, like a 24-hour clock, and also our startup location instead of the default store. But one setting I'd highly recommend we choose is this Start Steam in Big Picture mode. So let's enable it right here. And now if we exit out, every time that we enter the Steam app, we're in this much more console-like interface. And even though that I personally prefer the Armoury Crate's game library launcher that we customized earlier, I know that a lot of us PC handheld gamers really enjoy using this too. If you press our Xbox button, then switch back into Armoury Crate and into our game platform area again, it really is worth spending a few minutes logging into each one that we know that we're going to use. So another big one for me is the EA app. It takes us to the website, so just click on the Experiences tab, then the EA app, download the Windows version, log in or create an account if you're new to PC gaming, and in here that we can play amazing games like the new Battlefield Red Sec, and one of my favorite games in FC26. And not many gamers seem to know that we can get a full 10-hour free trial for all of the very latest EA games like FC26 included as part of our Game Pass subscription, which is pretty neat. For step 14, let's now optimize our AI Copilot assistant in the Xbox game bar. So let's exit out, press the Xbox button, and we can see that really annoyingly, the Steam app now keeps popping up when we press the Xbox button. Let's fix this issue by going into the Steam app, hit the Steam icon on the top left, go to Settings, go all the way down to Controller, and for some weird reason, this Guide button focuses Steam option is enabled by default. So let's disable this, and the Steam app now does not keep popping up. That was super annoying. So in the Xbox game bar, let's head over to the Gaming Copilot tab. This very first time, hit Continue, choose our preferred type of voice. So I'm going to choose the chill type. And so now that when we need help within our games, we can hit the talk button and we can say things like, tell me the best settings for Oblivion Remastered on the Xbox Ally, and it will help us with stuff like this. So we're in our final 3 optimizations now, and these are Windows settings. And for step 15, let's configure the time format. Let's hit the start button and go into Windows settings, then time and language. and the default is a 24-hour time format. And it took me a while to figure this out because it's hidden. You'd think that changing the time format would be here in the date and time section, right? But nope, no sign of it here. While we're here though on this set the time zone automatically option, let's toggle this to on, then back out to the main time and language section. And to change the time format, we actually have to go into language and region for some reason. Go down to regional format, press the down arrow, click the date and time format box, click on the short time and select the AM PM option if you want this like I do. And again on the long time area too. And it's just super basic stuff like this that makes Windows so much harder than it really needs to be. Step 16, it's a crucial one. So let's press the start menu. In the search bar, type in Windows Features and turn the Windows Features on or off control panel option appears. So let's click on this. Virtual machine platform is off by default here on the Xbox Ally X, but do double check this as Microsoft themselves do recommend making sure that this is off for gaming. So if it is on for any reason, then toggle it to off, which may require a restart. And finally, for step 17, let's close out of this Windows Features here and also our Windows settings. Hit the start menu, type in core isolation, and this system setting should come up, so tap on this. And in this memory integrity section, this is on by default. So if you're comfortable with this, then toggle this to off, then press yes in this box. Then let's press restart and yes again. Microsoft themselves officially tell us, and link is below in the description, and I quote that there may be performance impact on gaming devices with this on, and if we want to prioritize performance, then to turn these off. So just do whatever you feel comfortable with. I know that for me, performance absolutely did improve as a result, so maybe just avoid those dodgy websites, eh? Congratulations, your Xbox Ally or Ally X, ROG Ally or Ally X, or other PC gaming handheld is now fully optimized. Be sure to like and let us know below in the comments if this helped you, and get subscribed too if you really enjoy this type of content. Let us know any tips that you may have for the Xbox or ROG Allies in the comments below too. And as a thank you for watching this far, I'd love to share this awesome quote. Our mind is a powerful thing. When we fill it with positive thoughts, our lives will begin to change. It's so easy when we go through really tough and stressful situations to really focus on the negative, but let's try and focus on the positive even through difficult times. Let's be thankful for what we do have, and so stay encouraged today, guys. And as an extra bonus treat for staying right to the end, here's our gorgeous rescue cat, and her name is Pancake. So many things surprised me in my first 24 hours with my brand new Xbox Ally X, and check out the top 10 of these right here in this vid. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.